I'm Amy Fulton, and I'm the Early Childhood Program Director in Kids Corps.
And I'm Denise Mersman. I'm the Early Childhood Volunteer Coordinator. We're excited that you're here. This training is important to us, and we hope that it's important to you. In order to get started, we have an attached sheet to this, so we're going to ask you to print out that sheet, do some fill in the blank, and there's a couple of questions at the end. And then when you come in the next Sunday, drop off that training to us so we know you've done it, but you have to pass. So grab yourself something to drink, print out your sheet, and sit down. We're going to make this quick and easy, but it's important, so welcome.
Today we're just going to go through a couple of fun tidbits on training that will make you the best leader that you can be.
I'm late for a very important date. No time to say hello, goodbye. I'm late.
First thing, be on time. Trust me, I know the struggle. It's real. Check in at the volunteer table at least 20 minutes before you're supposed to. The service starts. That gives you 10 minutes before the kids start showing up. When you get here, make sure you've got your lanyard on. And when you first get to your room, check your bins. Make sure the supplies that I've put together for you are what you really need and what you expect. Make sure you've read through your lesson plan so you know what you're talking about. And meet with your teaching team, the other people in your room. Figure out who's going to do what, and then maybe say a quick prayer for how the day is going to go. If you do that, you're all set for the day.
A little fella.
Big fella. Whale. Okay. Maybe he only speaks whale.
Dory? What are you doing? What are you doing? Are you sure you speak whale?
Can you
Dory? Heaven knows what you're saying! See? He's swimming away.
come back?
He's not coming back. You offended him.
Maybe a different dialect.
Dory, this is not whale. You're speaking like upset stomach.
All right, number 2 tip is to communicate. We want you to communicate with your kids that are in the classroom. We want you to communicate with their families and get to know them. And most importantly, we want you to communicate with us. That's the best way we can find out what's going on in the classrooms. So also communicate if you're going to be gone and you don't know that ahead of time, it's a last minute thing, you can always call or text Denise at this phone number right there. Make sure you plug that into your phones. That's one of the best things you can do.
Stay in touch.
It's really, really important. So not only communicate when you're going to be gone, but also communicate if you're having issues in the classroom with kids, if you had suggestions on how lesson plans could go a little bit better. You're the ones in the classroom, you're the front line, and we want to know what's going on with you. The other thing is we want to know what's going on in your family life. We pray for you every week, and it would be great if we knew what was going on in your life so we could pray for you in those specific ways. Anything else to communicate, Denise?
Nope, just stay in touch.
I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog, too.
Welcome the kids with a smile. First couple of minutes are going to set the tone for the entire day. The other thing with that first couple of minutes is that's what the parents see. So if they see a room full of chaos and kids are crying, they're really reluctant to leave their children. If they don't leave their children, they don't go to worship. So greet them with a smile. Squat down and get down on their level and just say, hey, we're really excited that you're here. We have a great day planned. It's going to be awesome. One person who is consistent, if there's a person in your room who's here every week or almost every week, have them to check in because they're likely to know the kids and the kids are likely to know them. Once they check in, we're going to have you help them get in the classroom and engage. There will be a welcome activity that will help them get engaged. There's also some toys they can play with in the room. So just make sure they're in and they're engaged. But one more thing, when you're checking them in, on their sticker, it has a cell phone number. Make sure that that's the right cell phone number for the parents because in an emergency or if they're just really sad or mad, we might need to call their parent. We just need to know that's how we can get a hold of them. So be sure and check the phone number for us.
So always make sure you welcome with a smile. Yeah.
Are you going to teach us anything, or are we just going to sit here? Just do whatever you want.
I want to learn from my teacher.
Besides that, Freddie, what do you like to do?
I don't know. Burn stuff?
Just go out and have recess.
Number 4 is lead the kids through the activities of the day. One of the best ways you can do this is to prepare ahead of time. That's why we send you the lesson plans on Wednesday. So look for that e-note from me with the lesson plans attached. If you're not getting those, you need to check with us so we make sure we have your correct email. By taking time and reading through those lesson plans, you will be prepared for the day. So when you walk into that door on Sunday, you will be ready to greet the kids, lead them through the activities, and we don't want you reading through the lesson plans during that time. That just helps with everything that's going on. The other thing about your day is to make sure that you end your day on a very positive note. We do not want chaos going on in the classroom, and one of the key times is at the end of the day. That's where we have the sharing issues, and that's where we have the hitting issues, and all sorts of other things going on. So we suggest that you have a planned closing activity for them. You can check on your tables, on your counters, and in there you'll have a closing activity bin with fun things like parachutes and bubbles and balls and bean bags, and also some great ideas on how to end your day. If you do that in the last few minutes as parents are checking out their kids, we promise you your day will go a lot smoother.
One more benefit to reading the lesson plan before you come is you can know before you wear white silk pants that we might be going to do something with paint. So really, it's self-protective interest.
Did you just push a kid to the ground? He fell down! He fell down!
Our next thing is participate and lead by example. I think we've all been somewhere where somebody says, okay, go ahead and do that, and then they sit down and stare at the wall, and you're like, well, how much fun can it be if you don't want to do it? So you're going to set the tone for what goes on. If you're not leading the activity, if you're not the reader, if you're not the one leading it, participate in it. Join in the circle time and be one of the kids. That sets a great tone, and it also says to them, hey, this is important because the grown-ups are doing it, because most kids judge what matters by what they see grown-ups doing. Praise and worship time, you're going to hike them down and they have a great time. That's how they worship God. But if they don't see you having fun, then they're not really sure they should be having fun worshiping God, and everybody should have fun when they worship God. So join in the dancing, join in the singing, and I'll tell you frankly, looking from the outside, you look sillier if you don't than you do if you do. So give it a try, it's really a lot of fun.
No, don't play with that. Give me this. Give me the... Yeah, I know that trick thing, right? Leave it alone, okay? Hey, you get off those grapes. Come here! Come on! Hey, come here! Nicky, give me that bass! Nicky, put down that bass!
The next tip that you have is focus on the kids. Remember that you're here to serve those kids, and so you shouldn't be over in the corner talking to other people going on. You definitely should not be on your cell phones.
Oh, no, never. That's bad.
No, you need to be focusing on the kids. We understand that you might need cell phones. You might be expecting some important call or text, so it's okay to leave them on the counters, but just make sure that you're not on them and distracted from what's going on. Also, make sure the kids at this age love to tell you everything. So ask them questions and they will go on and on. Ask them about their pets. That's one of their favorite questions to be asked, and they will go on and on. Anything else about focusing on the kids that you can think of?
No, just have fun. One more thing. This may be the most attention they get all week. Families are busy and with activities and sports and parents trying to get meals on the table. This may be the most one-on-one they have, or the chance they have to tell somebody. Or you know what, it may be something about their family that's weighing heavy on their heart and they can't talk to their parents, so they may need a grown-up. So please, take a second and give them a listen.
Michael, do you remember when we first met and we went to that horrible part of town to buy you those dreadful clothes? And I was a little bit scared and you told me not to worry about it because you had my back. Do you remember that?
Yes, ma'am.
And if anyone tried to get to me, you would have stopped them, right? And when you and SJ were in that car wreck, what did you do to the airbag?
Stopped it?
You stopped it. You stopped it. This team is your family, Michael. You have to protect them from those guys, okay? Listen. Okay. Tony here's your quarterback, all right? You protect his blind side. When you look at him, you think of me, how you have my back, how you have his, okay? All right, Tony, go back. All right. Oompa Loompa here is your tailback. When you look at him, you think of SJ and how you'd never let anyone or anything hurt him. You understand me? All right, go back. Got it?
What about Collins and Mr. Tui?
Fine, they can be on the team too. Are you gonna protect the family, Michael?
Yes, ma'am.
Good boy. Then go have some fun.
My most important thing is keeping the kids safe. Never be alone with a child. That's why we always tell you 2 adults unrelated in the classroom before you check anybody in. You can be one-on-one with your own child, but you can't take any more. Make sure that you have 2 people and be aware as you check them in of your numbers. Bathroom policies, if a child needs to go to the bathroom, they need to go in by themselves, leave the door mostly closed, and you stay outside of the door. If they need help buttoning their pants, then you're gonna have to have them step out and do that. If they need more help than that, call a staff person and we'll come in and take care of it. All diapering jobs are done by a staff person, so that's a great thing. But just make sure that we're following those. Please don't bring any food in the classrooms. We have lots of kiddos with allergies. If you need to bring a drink, cup of coffee, water, if you bring a hot drink, make sure there's a lid on it. It stays back on the counter where they can't get it. And if you need to give your little people a drink of water, because if you have one, they're gonna have one. We have cups up in the counter, in the cabinet, so you don't have to take them out to a water fountain. Don't let the kids sit in your lap. The easiest way to prevent that when you're sitting on the floor is putting your legs straight out or off to one side. But first of all, everybody's gonna wanna sit in your lap. Can't have that. Unhappy kiddos, when we told you to keep those cell phone numbers, if they're really unhappy, give us a shout. We'll see if we can make it better. If we can't, after a few minutes, we're going to page their parents, because this is not someplace where we want them to associate with being super sad. Emergency procedures, we're going to have an emergency video for you that's going to come out from our safety director, which is awesome. But in the meantime, look for us. We're going to be giving you directions on what needs to happen and what needs to go on. We'll have all of our staff in full force on that. But pay a little attention inside your classroom. You have policies in place that you can take a look at. Most important, if there's an emergency and you hear an alarm go off or we tell you to move, grab your check-in sheets so we know what kids you had and we can make sure they all get where you go. But again, we'll have another video coming out, and please take the time to watch that, because that's critical.
Okay, let's check out
Adolescence. 3 years. Me too. Every day after school.
Well, the last thing we want you to remember to do is to have fun. Join in with those kids. This is your excuse to go in there and have a great time.
One last thing.
Yeah.
Wear your lanyard. That's a big safety feature. We can peek in through the window, and if somebody's wearing a lanyard, we know that they have either been, if they have a red lanyard, they've had their background check. If they have a blue lanyard, they've had a background check, and they've also completed our Safe Gatherings program. We feel very strongly about it, and we would ask, we know it's a time issue for the Safe Gatherings because it takes about an hour and a half. Once you do it, you're certified for 4 years, and it just says a lot about our church and the effort we put out. So we would encourage you, please go for the blue lanyard, and maybe we'll have a prize for you when you get there. But in the meantime, at least fill out your application. You'll be getting an email if we don't have yours on file current, so that we can get you all lanyarded up. I'm making up all kinds of words. And we know that the people in our classroom should be there.
All right, and if you want to do the Safe Gathering training, you go to safegatherings.com, and from there you log in, and it's a 90-minute program that you do right there online. All right, so all you need to do now is go ahead and answer those questions on your sheet from this enlightening video we've just had for you. Bring that to us when you check in on Sundays, and we will get you your brand new lanyard that tells you that you have been certified.
Thanks for serving with us. Thanks for watching. And if you have any questions, please give us a shout.
All right, see you later.